Srimati Venkatraman, clinical dietitian and wellness nutritionist. The session today is about question and answer session about prebiotics and probiotics with Srimati Venkatraman. What is probiotic? As you all know, all diseases begin in the gut. It is very important to maintain because probiotics are live microorganisms and it depends upon the genus, the species, and the strain on what probiotics you are taking. Let us talk today whether you have to have your probiotics, whether in the form of food or in the form of supplements. Thanks for submitting many questions today, and I'm going to answer all these questions. So let's talk about the first question. Pariyasadam, somebody has told that, can you talk about Pariyasadam or fermented rice? Is it good for you? Definitely, Pariyasadam or the fermented rice is basically very important traditional food that has been practiced in many states in India. Fermentation increases the probiotic species. As in the case of Pariyasadam or the old fermented rice, we soak the rice overnight, at least minimum 12 hours it has to be soaked. So the important bacteria, the probiotics can be increased. Many studies are out there which says that sodium, potassium, calcium, iron and magnesium has been increased in this Pariyasadam or the old fermented rice. The water that is there is so rich in electrolytes that usually in summer season it is usually taken early in the morning where the fermented products increases the good bacteria in the gut. Probiotics helps by maintaining the intestinal barrier in the gut. How do you help your stomach? Because if you keep your gut healthy, then you ward off many diseases, especially if you have some diarrhea or antibiotic associated diarrhea. All these fermented foods help in a long way. So let's go to the second question now. One person asked, I have a lot of gas problem. Will probiotics help for me? Definitely, because first of all, you have to make sure what is your diet habits, what do you eat every day. So what are the foods that you have to avoid in the formation of gas? All these legumes like rajma, chana are very good for health, but there are a lot of people who suffer from bloating or flatulence or gas. So it is important that you avoid this in the night, or you include a lot of ginger when you take this. So this helps not to form these gas or bloating. Now, in the form of probiotics, you can take it either as a supplement or as from food, and that would help you to ward off this bloating in the stomach. And it is very important that you take a lot of buttermilk throughout the day, which is again a fermented food, which has a lot of good bacteria, which is going to help in your intestinal health. Now, let's go to the third question. What about Indian fermented foods? Can you explain about that? Now, Indian fermented foods, whichever state you belong to, whether the south, the north, east, or west, there are a lot of traditional foods that is available. It is in the form of idli, dosa, dokla, or even in Assam, there are a lot of foods that they take it. Kuru or even rabdi and appam, kuripaniyaram, and there is a northeast which they call this as gundrak. What it is all these foods which is kept overnight is fermented, and these are the foods that increases the process of fermentation, increases good live bacteria in the gut, and this is going to increase our immunity, prevent a lot of diseases. So please try to include fermented foods. The very good, simple fermented foods you can take is curds and buttermilk or chas or lassi in any form. Keep drinking throughout the day, across ages. You can even give it for a child or a senior. You can pick it up on the way, or you can have it in your work from home as a good, healthy drink. So these fermented foods, which are part of our culture, is very important that you take it every day for good gut health, which is definitely going to increase your immunity and also make sure that you maintain your gut health. Now let's talk about the next question. How do I select pre and probiotics? Now let us first understand what is a probiotic. Probiotics upon the genus, the species, the strain, and it can be taken as a food or a dietary supplement. Now different strains have different health benefits. Example, you have lactobacillus, you have bifidobacteria. So these lactobacillus basically blocks or neutralize the toxins in the body. It maintains the gut barrier, increases immunity, and also helps in when your stomach is upset. If you take these supplements or in the form of food, it is going to help you. Now, what is a prebiotic? Prebiotic is basically different foods which has, consider this basically as a lunch box for your probiotics. So prebiotics, do not confuse it with fiber. Prebiotics in the form of raw bananas, also different varieties of curds and onions, vegetables, fruits. These undigestible fiber which you are taking every day is a food for the probiotics which helps you to grow the good bacteria in the gut. So this prebiotics has to be taken every day. They talk about microbiota, the resistant starch that is there in the form of these raw bananas, raw banana stem, banana flower, the whole banana species basically, and also these onion, garlic, and different plant foods are prebiotic, which feed the good bacteria in the gut. So taking prebiotics in the form of plant foods is the best way to maintain your gut health. So prebiotics are basically lunchbox or food for the probiotics, and probiotics are the live microorganisms that is flourishing. There are billions and billions of bacteria in the gut. Almost 70 to 80% of immunity lies in the gut. And the basically what food you take affects our mood also. So there are certain foods which you take makes you feel sleepy, makes you feel relaxed. There are comfort foods for certain people. So these are the foods definitely influences mood, and it has a gut-brain axis where the type of food you take definitely influences your mood. Now they are talking about how do I select the probiotic. Now there is no such thing as saying that this particular species is very good. Yes, Lactobacillus bifidobacter is very good. There are certain studies which says if you have certain species, it is very good for diarrhea. And there are certain species of probiotics, if you take, has been good for eczema, psoriasis, childhood eczema, atopic dermatitis, or even for IBS or IBD, which is basically irritable bowel syndrome or irritable bowel disorder. So it can be Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. So in order to select a probiotic, what you have to do is, do not think that how do you express a probiotic. When you practically see a probiotic sachet, you can see that it denotes CFU. What does the CFU mean? It is colony forming units. So how much of colony it forms in our gut. So it would mention in the sachet or in the tablet or in the liquid in any form you take that this many colony forming units are there, CFU, this many million units are there. So keep it in mind that the more the number doesn't mean it's very good. It is just that you have to take a doctor's, basically an advice from a qualified dietitian or a doctor, because it depends upon what type of problem you are suffering. So it can be an eczema, it can be a diarrhea, or it can be a constipation, or it can also be a psoriatic or a skin condition for weight loss, or what are you looking for? Or it can also be basically that you're feeling very tired, or you have such a sensitive stomach that if you take something, you actually have a bowel movement. So it also depends upon the condition. So when you are choosing a probiotic, look at the date of how important is the from the best date and the colony forming units and basically the condition for which you are taking, and then take an advice of a doctor or a qualified dietitian and then select that particular probiotic. Now let's go to the next question. What are probiotic killers that is very common? No, I just want to know that people always talk about that if I take something, my gut, I want to be good health, gut health, or immunity, I want particularly immunity, I want to increase my metabolism, all these things. But nobody realizes that different small things like sleep patterns, that if you're not getting enough sleep, having immense stress because of different problems in your life, or actually you're taking an antibiotic, very common, you're self-medicating yourself, too much of processed foods, sugar, you're taking too much of sugar, refined processed foods, and also you're taking lack of exercise. Even that now that people are working from home, it is important that you do your yoga or stretches, or if you could go inside your apartment or in your terrace. So it is important that you walk. So lack of exercise as well as alcohol intake, definitely smoking, all these are probiotic killers. So it is not just important that you take good food, but it is also important that you have good habits and lifestyle to maintain your gut health. Now look at the next question. They are talking about IBD and IBS. How do pro and prebiotics help in irritable bowel syndrome? Now they talk about irritable bowel syndrome is basically Crohn's as well as ulcerative colitis. Now, what is Crohn's? Crohn's is basically inflammation of the colon. So there are a lot of people out there, whether they are teenagers or they are living in hostel or they're working from home, or even that they have a genetic predisposition to get this. So what happens is they are so sensitive that if they take a particular product, mostly lactose or even deep fried foods or processed foods, they have certain disturbances in the stomach. So it is important that you have certain gut markers. So when you talk to a dietitian or a doctor, they would say that as a person, definitely probiotics is going to help you. But when you take certain high fiber foods, that would irritate the colon, which is going to irritate your stomach and increase the Crohn's symptom, which is basically can be a cramps or a loose motion. So what happens is there is no simple thing out there which you say avoid this or include this for Crohn's, because each one has a different symptom. So what happens in a Crohn's disease is some people go for loose motions for a few days, and then after that it becomes a constipation. So it is important to individually have a customized diet plan for you, looking at your food diary, or even doing a food intolerance or a food intolerance test out there. So as a qualified dietitian, we can advise you what is going to irritate your stomach, basically your inflammation causing those cramps, deep pains, or even constipation or diarrhea. So we can try to avoid these foods only for a short time, because it is important that you don't do it for a long time. What it is you have to talk to a dietitian, have a food diary, and then try to reintroduce this one at a time, so you would know, like FODMAPs. What are FODMAPs? These are basically where these particular foods will irritate, common foods that would irritate these gut lining, and this can be avoided and slowly reintroduced. So talk to your health professional, which would guide you about these prebiotics and this probiotics which you take in your IBS symptoms. So let's go to the next question. Do fresh curds or sour curds prepared at home good for gut health? Okay, very important. Yes, definitely it is very good for gut health. There are certain studies which you can see, even taking 2 times a week a yogurt or a curd or buttermilk is increasing your good bacteria. Then imagine in Indian culture, where we take curds or buttermilk as a normal part of our diet every day, day in and day out. I'm sure most of you in different parts of the country take a buttermilk or chas or curd rice or majjige, what they call it in different culture. You take it every day. So definitely it is going to improve your gut health. Take it in the form of raita, take it in the form of your different dishes are made with curds in Indian culture. Definitely include that. So including it 2 times a week, which says it's going to improve your gut health. I personally would recommend that you take it at least 2 times a day and it will definitely improve it. Now, what about sour curds? Sour curds basically increases inflammation in the body. So it is important that you have curds in the correct, in the correct sourness and don't have too much of sour. Curds will increase inflammation. Also in Ayurveda, they say if you have very much sour curds, it is going to increase certain symptoms like psoriasis or skin conditions. So talk to your doctor, see what suits you. But the normal curd or buttermilk, definitely take it at least twice a day is my take on this. Now let's talk about the next one. How much probiotic should we consume every day? So probiotic in the form of foods, you can consume at least 2 to 3 times a day. Definitely have a balanced diet, fruits and veggies, which is going to increase the probiotic, going to feed your probiotic organisms, and the fermented foods, which is your basically your idli, dosa, dokla, your puri, your fermented rice, and also your drinks. So buttermilk or curd or chas, as I mentioned. So probiotic. Now, what about the supplements? Yes, you can take supplements if you think your health professional has advised you. You can take it early in the morning. Look at what condition you're suffering, then select those particular probiotic supplement, the species, the genus, which is going to help you. Take it in an empty stomach. Follow the directions in the sachet, and you can take it in the form of a liquid or a tablet or a powder, and it will help you to relieve the particular symptom that you're suffering from. Now, what is the next question? Migraine and sinus. I have headache with certain foods. Do probiotic will help me? Yeah, see, migraine is basically, there are a lot of people who suffer from migraine out there, and definitely certain foods will trigger the migraine. There are people who take sour curds which will have these migraine. There are people who have these periods. So those hormonal changes in the body will trigger migraine just before a period starts. Or there are people who have these chocolates or deep fried foods or processed foods. So it is important for you to understand your body, what particular foods trigger these migraines, and try to avoid them. So when you avoid them, you will know that, okay, these are the trigger foods that is going to cause me these migraines, which is really debilitating sometimes because it is very difficult out there to just focus on what you're doing. And so you avoid those trigger foods, and definitely probiotics and prebiotics is going to help you. Take a balanced diet, make sure that you include all these food groups. Definitely your fermented foods is going to improve your gut health, and all these fruits and vegetables in the form of antioxidants, vitamins and minerals is going to improve your overall health. The last question is, do probiotic help in weight loss? There are no things like out there which says that if I pop a probiotic pill is going to help me in weight loss. No, it's not going to do that, because the way you take your calories, as long as you have a caloric deficit, so you balance diet, all the food groups, and then you have a calorie deficit. So you can have a proper exercise, yoga, meditation, a balanced diet with no junk food is what is going to have improved in your weight loss, and it is not just going to have just a pill which is going to help you in your weight loss. Now, what about these selection of prebiotics and probiotics? As I particularly told you, prebiotics are basically foods that is going to feed your probiotic. So make sure that you have it in the form of food, prebiotics, and probiotics. Depending upon your condition, you are going to select that particular probiotic. So catch up with you next time. Thanks for joining me today. Bye everyone, and good gut health to you all.